And welcome back to Trauma Teachers. This is Aaron,
Along with Patrick.
as always. All right, man. What is 22nd of August?
Yeah, I mean, every day is the same. I think it's Wednesday, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, if we weren't working at all, I'd really have
I had no clue. I mean, yeah, coming to work just kind of helps string together days, even though they all feel like one long Tuesday.
They do. Yeah, but mistakes, I can't really think of any. I'm sure we made some. But,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it said some things that probably,
I think
should have been
I'm kind of
corrected.
getting over that. Because anyone that's like listened to or done a podcast knows that it's kind of like a first date scenario.
Yeah.
Like you can't just walk back everything you say, or just the whole thing will be you walk. Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
Right.
Like you can't really do that. So unless we say something like really terrible,
Right.
which I hope we never do, then I would hope you would stop listening if we were just saying like crazy. But unless we do that, I think I'm done with like going back and.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I mean, I'm usually perfect anyway.
Yeah, that's so true. It's usually me going off on a tangent and then saying something. I'm like, what did I just say? I don't mean that. All right,
Sure.
so we start with struggles.
You want to go ahead? Because my struggle kind of ties into the highlights. So I was looking
Okay,
for.
there you can do dual.
I was looking for a
Wow.
smooth segue. You see me over here podcasting. it out,
Incredible,
right?
incredible. Yeah, in the biz, the segue.
You're right, the segue.
So-
I'm trying to get fans like you. I'm not there yet.
So my struggle is, we're still with the same kids all day,
Right.
which I'll kind of, you get used to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my struggle is, and this happens here, kids just decide they're done with you, right?
Mhm.
Whether you said something you shouldn't have said, which does happen here. I'm not gonna act like, I mean, that happens.
It happens.
Like, I'm not saying I say anything insulting, but maybe you raise your voice when you shouldn't have. So we just have one kid right now. He's just done with me.
Yeah.
And when you're seeing a kid once a day for 45 minutes, it's fine. But because you can kind of
forget.
ignore
Right.
or just try different strategies. But when I'm with them all day, I can't ignore behaviors, and so we're kind of just stuck right now.
Yeah.
Like I talked to him today, and I was like, "Hey, bud, I don't know. I understand you're done with me. You told me you're done with me. You told me you want to switch classes. You told me all these things, but I have to address your behaviors.
Yeah. You're
I
still
can't
here.
Right. I just can't just ignore you." And he actually apologized to me at the end of the day.
Nice.
So that was part of because I kind of lost my temper and was going back and forth with, and he's very rigid.
Yeah.
So he's not a kid you want to do that with. But at the end of the day, we apologize to each other. So I'm hoping tomorrow.
It'll be good.
It's been a couple of weeks, and you've been having to come in and kind of calm him down.
It's been an experience, and he's one of those kids where, like you said, it's never that you're saying or doing anything on purpose, but I think, I think what do you feel like? You felt like you broke a promise. I think was his words.
Yeah. So I told them last week.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be 100 every day. I said we'll either go to the gym or outside. Because if we went outside, it was gonna have to be at like 8:30.
Right.
We won't do both. And then this week we're doing both because it's nicer outside. And he's
very rigid. His concrete.
Yeah.
His thinking is concrete. So if the schedule says once,
Right.
we go once.
And I even wrote it up there, but I said something on Friday.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the weather, but I guess he didn't hear me, and he's just on the spectrum. I can't trust you.
Yep.
Like I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
I just wanted a little clarity. I didn't want people to think you were in here like beating the kids.
Yeah.
Or telling them that they're worthless.
No. I mean, but there are. I guess when I say that, I've never like insulted a kid, or. But there are times when you engage in a power struggle.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
would
yeah.
probably be effective. Power struggles aren't, but with other children, you might be able to change. But when our kids are that rigid, especially on the spectrum, you're just participating in a conversation that is just heightening them,
Right.
and could lead to an aggressive behavior, or could lead to long-term damage in a relationship when it's not necessary.
And like you said, in normal situations or circumstances, 45 minutes you're into the period, and then you get a whole redo for the next day
Right.
when they come in. But where we are now, like just
Yeah,
it's Groundhog Day.
we'll see tomorrow.
We'll see.
But that's the first time I've ever heard him apologize.
I would say that
yeah.
that's huge. So I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that he's been doing really well actually, the fact that because it's like the second or third time you guys have kind of butted heads, but have come back together
I
again.
know.
So it's been great to watch and be around, man. That's awesome.
Oh, man.
But I'll go now. My struggle this week is, I don't know if we said it before, but we probably have, is that sometimes we don't try to read too much into the information that we're provided, on kids, like their intake or their histories or their past, because it can be misleading on who the student is when they're presented to us and who they are for us, and also it gets really hard. Reading some of the stuff and knowing some of the trauma and adversity that our kids face, and it's I did go back because we've gotten a lot of new kids, and so I was going back and just kind of reading some stuff just to trying to get familiar with, and it just just some of the atrocities, you know, that these kids are exposed to so young, so many different aspects or levels. It's a struggle just knowing that that is happening to someone.
Right.
It's just having the information for me this week is just knowing that this has happened to this young child, and you know they're having to deal with that, and just having to know that or to deal with that kind of think of that kind of experience is struggle.
Right, and that makes it when we talk about. I know sometimes we're talking about how many chances we give a kid but if you had read some of these,
Yeah.
like we'll never get into a specific kid, but we have kids whose parents have given them drugs, whose parents have made them perform, you know, sexual acts on family members, all that horrific stuff you think is only happening in movies.
Yeah.
Like that happens to our children.
Yeah.
And then so to expect a kid like that to be able to give them a directive and them say F you and then you come back at them,
Yeah.
that's not reality.
Yeah.
Like it could, I mean, some kids like that, they're never gonna, well, none of them are ever gonna fully heal.
Mm-hmm.
But the only chance is just through love and patience
Time.
and
Yeah.
understanding and
Yeah.
listening to them. And I don't know, like coming back at them and saying that sounds crazy. That's so insulting
So
because
insulting.
they're what their reality is not our
It's not
reality.
ours.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's funny you say because I read one. We just had a kid whose parents gave up rights,
Mm-hmm.
and I reread his stuff, and he had the worst history I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's-
But the flip side of that, segueing into my
Okay.
my highlight,
I
is
got
that,
really deep in there.
is that you do get a chance to spend time around the kids, and like the student you just mentioned, you read that and you hear what's happening to him, and you read about or his history, but to watch the student that he is now and how he's progressed and who he is where he is now is a huge difference. So it's on one hand you have to hear and all of the adversity and trauma, right? But on the other hand, you get to be part of the experience of them growing and being better and trying to help them come to the other side. And also, like, if they're not a representation of the paper most of the times, so it's great to be in the classroom or on campus with the kids and you read something horrible or horrifying, and that's not the child that's sitting in front of you. And it's such a great thing to see such resilience in someone so young that they're not affected by that in a way that they still can have conversation with you. They can still be polite. They can still be genuine and loving and caring, even with all of that happening to them. So I mean, just having, like I said, read a bunch of stuff, and then to deal and socialize with those kids, same kids, the stuff that I'm reading about, and just how it's completely different. And it's just such a nice time to spend being around them and not having to think about all the things that they've gone through.
Yeah, and that it's so crazy reading about a kid because we'll get kids has been trying to kill their sibling, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and then you actually, and it's the same way with adults. I'm sure I've never like gone in and done like prison ministry. I'm not acting like I have, but there are people that have done horrific murders, rapes, all that kind of stuff. It comes from a place of their reality. They don't have a reality.
Right.
They saw terrible things when they're younger. You develop that. You see it with our kids.
You're not given the opportunity to give the tools to kind of cope or deal with life situations that happen to you like that, and then, where are you expected to go?
Right. And like when you see a violent act in a quote unquote normal childhood or a normal upbringing, that's going to affect you. Our kids, it's not like
It's
that
not like that.
because they've already seen all that stuff. They've been hardened in that way.
Right.
And so the only way to help them is not to tell them they're a bad person, is to try to bring back some normalcy.
Some a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, but that
I was like, you want to take it dark? I can go darker. But I'm glad we talked about it because it's just not. It's like we always talk about it. I'm sure the same for you. It's changed my whole perspective of when I meet people.
Yeah.
I don't judge people on anything.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm obviously I still have preconceived and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just like, oh man.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Highlight.
I would say you got your highlight. You got your highlight?
So my highlight, besides the kid apologizing,
Which was huge.
which was incredible, is we have the talent show coming up.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna talk much because I just talk too much. But our kids are super excited, and and it's the same thing, like similar thing. Like even if the kid's not super talented, the willingness of a kid who's been through all this stuff to go up in front of a group of people, we'll be
Yeah.
doing it virtually, and like sing or dance or whatever they want
Yeah.
to do for 5 minutes is awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about
I
that.
mean, yeah, agreed. I can't wait to see what the final product is and see all of the kids be involved that are going to be
Yeah,
involved.
it's great.
So, getting to know you
Yes.
through that segment. Patrick, Who have you ever met anybody? I guess famous or quote unquote celebrity.
Yeah. So well, when I was about 11 or 12, someone I was related to worked for the Atlanta Hawks, right? So,
Nice.
So after the game, I was very excited to go in the locker room, and let's just say the majority of the players were naked when I got in. And as an 11 or 12-year-old, I wasn't very excited
A
after
little,
that.
little traumatizing, maybe.
Yeah, but I did meet the Kemba Mutombo, Stacey Augmon, and then I went in the other tunnel. They were playing the Bullets at the time.
Okay.
And George Murasan and Juwan Howard.
Nice.
Juwan Howard was.
Jay Howard.
I was like, why does he have 6 girlfriends? And my uncle's like, just go ask for autograph. but
I hope Jay Howard is not listening.
but he actually, like, there was 6 females circling him. That is what was happening.
Yeah.
And he stopped. He called me little man. He signed my autograph, and I was so happy.
Nice.
So that's a great example. Like that took 10 seconds for him. And I remember that till now, which
Right.
is kind of embarrassing. But
No, that's all good.
all right, so
Man.
I'm just gonna throw the same question back on.
Yeah, the Plastic Man. That's a
The
good
pla- he, yeah. I was very confused.
I have. I think the most recent. I was in. I went to a concert, and after the show, I guess they were staying at the hotel where the concert was, and so we were just kind of walking around, and Eric Sermon was walking around and talked to Eric Sermon for a little bit. Parrish Smith came up and started talking to Parrish Smith for a little bit. Who else was there? Havoc and Prodigy. Well, Havoc from Mobb Deep talked to him for a minute, and so that's pretty cool.
So you actually got to have a conversation.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Eric
that's
Sermon. Eric
incredible.
Sermon is cool. Like at least he was that night. Like he asked us what we're up to, what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like not just like hey, what's up, but no,
Right.
like seriously engaging.
Yeah.
Same thing with Parrish when he saw us and got.
That's awesome.
It was cool, man.
Because I feel like that's hard to turn on and off.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be super nice to a stranger, you know, you wouldn't think, and then like the next day be like a huge jerk.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
No,
yeah,
yeah.
I've definitely never had any like kind of conversation. Like
No, I mean, and I've seen other people out. I think I saw Alonzo Mourning out one time. Saw Baron Davis once, like way back when he was still at UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Oh yeah, I did see Ryan Tannehill.
No,
when we were I was in Italy visiting my brother who lives over there. And of course, my younger brother said yelled at him. Like he walked by with his wife, and we're like, "That looks like him." How many 6'5", 250-pound men can there be in Italy? But yeah, but yours is way better. I've never talked to him; I just yelled at him or like covered my eyes and asked for an autograph. All right, so resource of the week, and we talked about this way back.
Way
Aaron and I
back.
looked way back.
Way back. Yeah, I had to
So-
go back to.
Yeah, we missed our year anniversary.
Yeah.
I didn't even get you anything.
I know, man.
But so this is like kind of one of the first eye-opening things you see when you start working this field is the ACEs.
They scored. Yep.
So it's 10 questions, and it goes everywhere from were your parents divorced to like, you know, did anyone ever touch you inappropriately, all that
Right.
stuff. But it shows, like we were talking about earlier, why the behaviors of our kids happen. Because some of the stats, if you have a score of 4 or higher, and we'll list them, you have a 1,200% higher chance to attempted suicide.
Yeah.
So that's the only stat we'll talk about because I'll put them all up. But I mean, just so there are reasons for behaviors.
Yeah, and then I mean, and again, I think well, not I think I know for sure the earlier podcast about the ACEs we went into depth and what it is, but it was originally a study done through Kaiser Permanente, trying to figure out make a connection to certain health concerns that were being seen in certain populations and areas. So, and the ACEs score was something that came out of that, was a byproduct of that.
Right. And the Kaiser Permanente study was with their employees.
Yeah.
So this wasn't like, we talked about this last time too, this wasn't like going into the trailer park in the Appalachian Mountains.
Right.
These were people who had,
Who
you
were
know,
working
good
in that-
jobs,
yeah, right.
all that stuff. And it's like, so like you said, heart disease, depression, lung cancer, obesity,
Mhm.
all of those things. And I've talked about that before. Embarrassingly enough, I used to kind of have a judgment of people who were overweight, and then you read something like that, and it increases your chance of obesity by like 300, 400%.
Right.
So what am I doing? Like, stop being a jackass. Like, you don't know that person.
Right.
So stop judging them.
Right.
Ah.
So yeah. So there you go. Please check that out. The
Yeah.
ACEs scores.
So now we're on Feel Good Story of the Week.
Yeah, we are feeling good.
Start with this one.
Yeah. This student came to us. He might be one of the examples of where just proper placement and finding his right niche or group, and all of the staff kind of being part of helping him find out where that was. Because I can't say that there are very many behavior issues. he would get really frustrated or upset sometimes and maybe tune out and
Like the baby talk.
yeah. But I think it was connected to a lot of just like not being part of feeling proper placement. So like I said, he's probably one of the examples of like student comes in, helps. So we help everybody involved, all these staff involved, help him to find the right place. And once he did, we kind of started to see some of the behaviors teeter off, and he's actually getting ready to discharge soon.
Yeah, and I had so his like the behaviors were just like you said, very low frustration tolerance.
Yeah.
So like something would happen and he would just put his head down and
Yeah.
that was it for the day.
Yeah.
Or he would literally revert to like a 4-year-old. So I don't know what the trauma was, but he would start like literally like making goo goo gaga noises and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I had someone, and Aaron, I'm definitely gonna need your help with this, but I had someone like tell me last week they loved the podcast and they liked the feel good stories, their favorite part, but like it's hard for them to understand sometimes why the behaviors change. And I was trying to say like sometimes, especially a kid like this, like if they're in the public school setting, and I'm not blaming the teachers or whoever works in the public
Right.
school setting, there's not the appropriate response because first of all you don't have the time if you have 30 kids.
Right.
And second of all, you don't have the skills. So it's like if a kid acts like that in our placement, then we're gonna maybe ask questions. Why are you acting like that? How can we help you?
Right.
And then that helps the kid, I guess, get to know themselves, and then eventually the behaviors improve.
Right.
We have tons of examples of that with other kids.
Right. And I mean, and I think a lot of times, what we have the opportunity here is that, like you said, we have less students and we have more time, so we can dedicate some of those questions and finding out why. And so that's why we see some of the behaviors change here. And that goes back to kind of like what I was saying, is that we can help find placement because a lot of it is therapy. So it's trying to figure out, like, okay, so what will help? So in this case, with our feel good story, it come to find out like he wanted to be part of the cosmetology group,
Right.
and so he, instead of being in his elective, which if I remember correctly was culinary, he got pulled out of culinary and transitioned into cosmetology, where he was more comfortable, doing hair and nails and all of those things. So again, being in the right placement sometimes helps with that. And like I said, or like you said, we're lucky in that aspect, is that we do have the time.
And so we'll have kids, we talked about this, we'll have kids to say, you're a B word, I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
Right.
And at our placement, we're able to say to them, because these are the worst kids in their class. These are
Right.
kids who have been expelled. These are kids who have at times been arrested. These are kids who have been in court. So the majority, almost all, if not all, the feedback they've heard about themselves is negative.
Right.
So hey, I may be a B word, but what is beating me up going to do for you?
Right.
And I hear you use that line all the time. Okay, so you want to fight him? When you win that fight, what does that do?
Then what?
And then you're like, well, he'll shut up. And you're like, how long do you think he's going to shut up for? Not long.
Right.
Right? So then they can kind of talk through why they're feeling the way they are. And then I think the biggest thing with helping our kids is compliments.
Yeah.
Right? Like finding those little things. We talk about, I like your shirt.
Right.
You're funny.
Yeah. Small connections.
Right.
And right next to the finding small connections, I think is the consistency. Right. I think you were telling me earlier about you and the student who apologized to you. Like, at the end of the day, you're like, we'll see tomorrow, right?
Right.
So like that's what we have. The idea that we'll be here tomorrow. So them, even good, bad, or ugly, they may not want to see you tomorrow. He may not want to see you tomorrow. But there's something about knowing that you will be there tomorrow. So even if it's not necessarily a physical presence, sometimes that does help to make some of the behaviors changes that they. Especially with our population, they're not used to someone being there,
Right.
Consistently.
Right. And that person that's there, like tomorrow, I will say to him, hey Dylan, hey buddy, I wanted to apologize again about yesterday. We're gonna be good from going here on out.
Right.
And that's probably not the case.
Yeah.
But they're used to coming into class and the teacher not wanting to see him, or the person in the hallway not wanting to see him, or whatever. So I think that's. And again, we talk about we don't fix kids. You don't
Yeah.
fix mental illness.
No.
You don't fix trauma. But we help them, give them skills to navigate as they move forward in life. At least that should be our goal.
Yeah.
So I'll have to edit that out.
No, well, I mean, just remember that we don't use real names.
Yeah, I know. I just have this set of names.
I was gonna say yes. I mean, I feel like we stick to Johnny and.
Yeah, I have about 8 names. I
Yeah.
guess.
So you went rogue on that one. Just came up with a whole new one.
God. But yeah, I think we should ending on a positive note because we did get into some dark stuff. Mostly
Yeah,
my
we
fault.
did.
You tried to like get around
I
that.
mean,
and I just
you
jumped in.
can do what you can do.
But I do feel like I do feel like right now the kids have a strong sense of community with each other.
Yeah.
And are still being overall nice to each other.
Agreed.
Which nice for our kids might not look like what nice to for your kids might be. But I'm really so impressed, and I love them so much for kind of sensing what's going on and trying not to make other kids frustrated
Right.
or stuff like that.
Right. Like these groups, I can't commend them enough in these circumstances with the fact that they're not killing each other.
Right,
They're,
exactly.
They're with the same people, living and going to school, and I mean to not have choked somebody out
Right.
seriously is I say that in all jokingly, but like they deserve all of the credit in the world right now because it's a lot to handle, and they're like you said, for our group, for our kid here, they're doing phenomenal.
And some of them are like 12 to 14 age where you hate your siblings.
Yeah.
So they're basically living with siblings that aren't siblings, and then going to school with those people all day.
All day.
So like you were talking about last week, like who gets to use the bathroom, food, all those things you argue about with your siblings, they have to navigate all day.
All day long.
And then all night.
And then again in the morning.
And then in the morning, right? So it's just like a never-ending like cycle of that. And they've, like you said, them not wanting to kill each other has been amazing.
Amazing.
And we've seen some really cool friendships. From
Yeah.
it, so, yeah.
All right.
Congratulations on every year, man.
Yeah, man. Your anniversary.
That's right.
I don't know, man. That one felt good.
Yeah, it's only 21 minutes, but I think it was good.
Solid.
Besides me, the beginning, sometimes when I start getting dark, and then I just keep talking because I'm trying to work myself
Trying
out
to
of
get
it,
out of the
just
hole.
keeps getting darker.
You can't get out of the black
I
hole.
can't too. But yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, man. Well, unless you have anything else.
I don't.
All right. Well, as always, Patrick, I've enjoyed our conversation. We hope you guys have enjoyed listening. We look forward to you guys listening next week.